How to be a godly wife. A godly wife follows the scriptures. First off, you know that you're a wife, so you know your role. So you go to the scriptures, go to the Bible, and look up the scriptures on how to be a wife. What God wrote to you as a wife, what He wrote about wives. Read those scriptures and make every effort, put them into practice. Now, you're not going to be proficient overnight. You just take it one baby step at a time. Just make every effort to put those scriptures into practice. From Genesis, you were created to be a helpmeet. Ephesians 5, verse 22, wives, submit to your husbands in everything. Right? That first part there. Okay? God didn't make any mistakes. He said everything. Okay? You can change everything. Submit, surrender. When you surrender, it's no longer all about you. When you said Jesus is Lord, you died. Now, God's in control. God's the boss. He's the Lord. He's the King. He's the master. So whatever He says, go. Now it may take you a little while for your brain to comprehend and understand. But you know what? Don't trust yourself. This is what I had to do. Just trust the scriptures. Just go with the scriptures. Repeat the scriptures regarding wives over and over in my head. Now my husband asked me to do something, and my own nature didn't want to respond. You're on autopilot. And so I'm like, wait a minute, you just asked me to do something. Scripture says submit to my husband and everything. Okay, let's dial this back. Okay, let's be obedient here, because the goal is not to allow the enemy to win. We have to understand, as wives, we are in a battle. The enemy wants to destroy our marriage because it represents Christ, right? Jesus, and it's a mystery, right? It's all about God. And anything for God, the enemy wants to destroy. And he wants to pull it out from the root. And guess what? He's using us wives to do it, right? He still hasn't changed from the garden, right? He used Eve, and now he's using us. Okay, ladies, let's wise up, okay? Let's not get caught up in those schemes, right? Let's be alert, and let's put on our full armor, right, for the battle that we're in. Okay? You need to get suited up in that armor, and you need to do what those scriptures said. God spoke specifically to us. Okay? Now, there are two books that helped me. When I read Romans 12:2, and it talked about being a living sacrifice, and I said, okay, God, I want to be a living sacrifice. Okay, God said, really? That's what I thought in my mind, because afterwards I found the book Created to be a Helpmeet, and I ordered that book. And the book took a while to come. I wonder why it took so long. God is funny. It showed up on my birthday. Like, I got a present for you. And I mean, that book changed my marriage, transformed my marriage. The way God allowed that author to write that book, it's like, to me, I said it's a blueprint for marriage, a roadmap, a guide. It's the scriptures, but the wisdom that God gave that author, Debbie Pearl, to write that book. That's the name of the author. That book really, God used that book to shape and mold me, because it's like He's looking for people, for women who's going to be obedient, just like Mary, to be His servant, right? Because we are His representation, right? This is a high calling, right? And we need to take it seriously. I had no idea. But you know what? God knew I was ready. He knew I was ready for it. So he called me higher. It's a higher calling, ladies. Being a wife is a high calling, right? Um, okay. It says, "He who finds a wife receives favor from the Lord." Okay? So it's a high calling. And the next book, I guess God knew, I did create it to be a helpmeet. I guess that one I used for years. Yes, I outgrew that one. I had that book. I loaned it out to other wives, other friends of mine started book clubs. People came back and said, you know what, thank you. I mean, I'm an advocate for marriage. No matter what, yes, it's not easy. Definitely isn't. The two of you learning to become one, being one. So but if, ladies, God has called us to it. Okay? He brought us here. The other book that um, is transforming my life, and I just got this one this year for my birthday. Another birthday gift. God said, you need this. The Hidden Helpmeet by Debbie Pearl. And this one is also transforming my marriage. Ladies, we need all the help we can get. God has given people gifts and talents, and she's using hers, and it's helping me. I know the first book, Created to be a Helpmeet, a lot of wives stayed away from that book, you know, but I look at it, calls you to just surrender, be obedient to God's call in His scriptures, what the scriptures asking us to do. Now you have this modern day wife, this modern day godly woman. That's not how it is in the Bible. Okay, we need to get back to God's order and God design, the way He designed wives to be, and where we need to be, that is underneath our husband, under their protection. That's how He designed everything, so that the enemy won't get a foothold, but ladies, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. And yes, there are trials and hardships, just like Job and his wife went through it. Job lost everything, but guess what? His wife didn't leave him. She stuck with him throughout the trials. Yes, she told him to leave God, but he didn't listen to her, right? But she didn't leave him when he lost everything. So yes, it's not going to be easy. My husband and I are going through our fair share of trials, and guess what? I'm right by his side. Okay, that rib ain't going anywhere. Okay, and your husband needs to know that you've got his back through the hard times. Okay, that's when we really need to step up, ladies, in these trying times. Okay, and this is, as scripture says, we get to put it into practice. Consider it pure joy when you go through trials. I mean, God is shaping and molding us and building our character through these trials. Okay? That's what He's doing. Ask God, pray and ask Him to show you the things that He's teaching you, the lessons He wants you to learn, the things He wants you to grow in, Scripture tells us Paul, they went through shipwreck. They went without food. I mean, they got floggings. Why do we think we're not going to go through hardships or trying times? The scripture is very clear, right? What the disciples went through, right? So we'll go through ours. They were prepared. They were ready. Make sure you're prepared and ready, because they're coming, right? It's just a matter of when. And God allows these trials to happen. Nothing goes by God. Just like Satan went before Him for Job, and God allowed it. God allows these things for a reason. Okay? The thing is for us to not lose our faith. This, for me, these trials that I'm going through, it's teaching me, it's building my faith muscle. It's taking my faith higher, and I'm seeing the scriptures I've read throughout the years just come alive in my life. Now I get to practice it. Do not worry. You know, just take things one day at a time. Don't think about tomorrow. Okay? That's enough trouble. Just deal with today. Focus on today. Some of us we overthink things. You know, just keep things simple. God has taught me to just keep it down to the scriptures. His mercies are new every day, ladies. They're new every day. God's willing, we wake up tomorrow, you get to start over. Don't worry, don't stress. You know, just be thankful, rejoice, right? In our wonderful Creator, right? The one that's got us, the one